Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show here, right? We got a pretty interesting show. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as the vast majority of you are aware that there was an NBA game last night, Eastern Conference Finals game, between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Going into this series, I picked Boston to win this series. I think a good amount of us did. Because we're looking at the roster that they have. We're looking at the fact that, you know, I think, they just went to the NBA Finals last year. They still have some of their talent. You know, these guys have more experience under their belt. So a lot of us felt this team could pretty much do it. And then you look at a Miami Heat team that's being led by Jimmy Butler, who, I might add, is one of the best players in the NBA, certainly. But when Jimmy Butler gets to the playoffs, I've never seen this type of transformation from an all-star from the regular season to the playoffs. Jimmy Butler this season averaged 23 points, 5.9 rebounds, 5.3 assists. In the playoffs, he's averaging 31 points per game, shooting 52% from the field, 36.6% from three, an 80% free throw shooter with 6.6 rebounds, 5.6 assists a game, only 2 turnovers, 2.2 steals, and 0.8 blocks. And Jimmy Butler turns into this, you know, I really don't even know how to characterize my sentiments towards Jimmy Butler. It's almost like as if he turns into another person. And of course, there's this kind of running joke around the NBA, which is Jimmy Butler. They call him Jimmy Jordan because he turns into Michael Jordan's son. You look at Jimmy Butler perform and you're like, how is this even possible? Then you look at the Miami Heat roster and you're like, I think they have 7 undrafted players. Tyler Hero is not available. What's the guy? The player? What is it? The Miami Heat that's been injured. Victor Oladipo. He's been injured. He's not playing. And you ask yourself, how is the Miami Heat? How are they doing this? How is it possible that the Miami Heat went into Boston and won the first 2 games? How is this even possible? How is it looking so easy for Jimmy Butler? How are the Miami Heat actually doing this? What is going on with this team? I mean, it is absolutely remarkable. This team was a number 8 seed. A number 8 seed. That is now, they knocked off the number 1 seed. Yes, Giannis missed, I think, 3 games. Then I think in the second round, they beat, I forgot the team that they played in the second round that they beat them. And then now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals and they go into Boston and win both games. How is this even possible? I was watching the game yesterday and I'm like, it's like watching a miracle unfold. And you're like, but how is this even happening? That's the Miami Heat side. Let's get to the Boston Celtics side. For as great as Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo, the Miami Heat, Heat culture with Pat Riley, for as great as they have been, the Celtics have been just as bad. And I think we need to start at the coaching position, which really this show is centered on. You know, last year something remarkable happened in the NBA. One of the greatest stories, turnaround stories that we've seen in a very long time. For the first, I believe, 30 games or so, the Boston Celtics were reeling. And they decided to make a change. They said, you know what? Brad Stevens is going to step down because they felt like maybe he wasn't getting through to the players anymore. And they decided to promote a rookie head coach and Ime Udoka to the head coaching position. Then what happened? This team that looked like they were going to have a disappointing season, they were hovering around 500. They go and turn around their season. They end up becoming the number 1 rated defense in the entire NBA. They go into the first round of the playoffs, and they absolutely stifle the Brooklyn Nets, featuring 2 of the best perimeter scorers in NBA history in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Totally stifle them. And they somehow found a way to beat the Milwaukee Bucks and make it to an NBA Finals. All done under the leadership and stewardship of a rookie head coach in Ime Udoka. Then what happens? They get to the NBA Finals. They lose, I believe, in 6 games, and their immaturity really started to show. And a lot of us felt, well, this team, now that they've gotten a taste, they have the experience, they're going to come back, lick their wounds, and learn from their mistakes. One assumed that, hey, this team, man, they have what it takes to get to the next level. Then a scandal breaks. And we found out something unsavory happened within the Boston Celtics organization. I don't want to go into the details. Long story short, Ime Udoka gets suspended for a year, I believe. And I think he got suspended without pay, if I remember the details properly. Then what happened? Various media outlets, various media personalities got a hold of the story. And what a lot of people like Malika Andrews and others decided to do was they said, you know what? This is a prime opportunity to trash men. This is a fantastic opportunity. And you even had some men joining the show. And they were like, oh, Ime Udoka was a superior. He was the one, this and this and this, not even knowing who the person was. It's amazing how you know he was a superior and you don't even know who the person was that he had the incident with, just to show you the level of bias. And they decided that they were going to make Ime Udoka the poster boy for this issue, although it was a consensual thing. And the Boston Celtics did something drastic. They decided that, you know what? We're going to punish this guy. And then ultimately, we're going to allow him to interview for other coaching jobs. And we're going to let this guy go. And I said at the time, and some Boston Celtics fans said that suspend him. Maybe for half a season, whatever it is. But don't let the guy go. Because he's too good of a coach. And I believe that although the Boston Celtics had a reason to do it, maybe for internal reasons, but I also believe that a lot of it, or at least the decision they made, came from some of the pressure that they were getting outside, from people outside, right? And they themselves could have handled that situation internally, but then instead, they decided to broadcast it all over, and they could have punished him quietly, and we could have moved on. And now I sit here looking at this team. You're looking at Joe Mazzulla. Game 1, he gets so frustrated, throws the coaching board, I forgot what it's called, clipboard, throws it on the ground. Then in yesterday's game, we witnessed the Boston Celtics absolutely collapse in game 2. And I couldn't help but ask myself the question, would this have happened if Ime Udoka was the head coach? Would Ime Udoka would have been able to get through to this particular group? Did they make a mistake by letting him go? Should they have just suspended him and then found a way to bring him back? Because the fact of the matter is, he was able to do something that no coach was able to do for that Boston Celtics team since Doc Rivers in 2008 and 2009 and 10, which was coach a ball club to an NBA Finals appearance. And somehow he was able to pull off that feat in one season. Not even one season, 3/4 of a season, which is absolutely incredible. And now you look at what's happening with the Boston Celtics, and I refuse for anyone to convince me that Ime Udoka would not have been able to do a better job. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. So the question then becomes, did the Boston Celtics mess themselves up by letting this guy go? This is the question. Now, the series isn't over. The Celtics can still come back and win this series. It seems improbable, given the fact that they've basically given up home court advantage. But it still begs the question. The situation still begs the question. Because I believe that Ime would have been able to do a better job with this team. That this team would have been having some of those defensive lapses and mental lapses that they were having in game 1 and game 2. I could be wrong, but it's just a hunch I have. So the question really goes to the audience. And the question is simply this. Do you think the Boston Celtics should have found a way to retain Ime Udoka, or do you think that they made the right decision to let him go, and that in fact it has nothing to do with Ime Udoka? It's just that this team has probably hit their ceiling and they're not good enough to make another NBA Finals appearance. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.